We're here with Phil Martelli Jr. The Bulldogs getting set to open the 2023-2024 season on November 6th. Coach, your pick to finish third in the American East standings. Obviously a very tight conference last year. Picked third. Thoughts on that going into the season?
Well, my thoughts on that are there are two teams picked ahead of us that are going to try and beat us when we play them and vice versa. And there's 6 people picked behind us that are going to try to do the same. So I don't put a whole lot of stock. Obviously, the coaching line is, you don't really pay much attention to those things. I think it's great because it drums up the excitement of the season starting. It's right around the corner. We're a couple weeks away. Gets people excited about it, following it. But the fact of the matter is when we play November 6th and then when we play our first conference game on January 6th, no one's going to care who was picked where, and it'll be 2 teams battling against each other to get that win.
Your first year in the conference, what was your take on just the parity and the ability for everybody to compete every single night?
Well, I think the biggest thing I took away is that the coaching in this conference is highly underrated. There are some really, really, really good coaches across the board, and it makes it super competitive that way. There's good players on every team for sure, but I do think for me coming in, seeing that coaching night in and night out, seeing the adjustments, seeing the style, seeing the discipline that everybody was playing with, really blew me away, and it's very underrated that way and does make for some real parity because as we saw with a lot of these games, it doesn't matter, first or ninth or second or eighth or third or seventh, like it doesn't really matter because it's going to be a battle for sure.
We talked about the transfer portal earlier. Your team, again, this summer added some muscle in the transfer portal. What have your thoughts been on the newcomers and obviously a couple freshmen as well, but how they've helped grow this program?
Yeah, it's a good group. They are very willing to learn. They're very hungry guys, very willing to learn. They want to be good and they want to do something. Obviously, all coming from different situations, but it definitely there's a resilience to this group that I really like. That I think will hopefully push us forward, in those later months in the season.
And this team does have a lot of returners, which is super helpful. What do you think this group learned last year that will help them kind of mature this year and maybe have a different experience in the American East?
Well, a big thing is that resilience, is being able to bounce back from things. We didn't do that great last year. It's certainly a hungry group, and like every team, right? All 8 of us were unhappy with the way the season ended. Vermont was happy; they got to cut down the nets. Everyone else kind of leaves unhappy and has that taste in their mouth and hopefully that fire in their belly. So our guys have responded well to that, which I would have expected. We've got to do a better job of moving to the next thing, get to the next play, get to the next action, get to the next whatever it is, the next game, the next practice, of being able to put any bumps in the road behind us and be able to move along.
And then finally, you mentioned November 6th, the season starts. January 6th, the second season starts. In between, a lot of marquee matchups for this year's team, including a Final Four team in FAU. Any non-conference matchups that stick out for you?
They all stick out. I'm not looking forward to any of them. I am questioning the guy that does the scheduling. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. That's me, by the way. But no, we wanted to challenge ourselves. Our guys want to be challenged. We want to challenge ourselves. We are going to some difficult places. But then you have those other ones, like you brought up Florida Atlantic. Like, that was a battle last year, right down to the wire down there when we played them. And hopefully it will be again. And we saw what they did, where they went. But all those others, Manhattan will be a tough one, and Boston U and Howard and Brown will certainly be a tough one. There's a lot of those games. Towson and Drexel were picked, the top of their league. So, everybody, as you go through it and start to see some of these preseason polls and prognostications and stuff, you see, I'm like, okay, that team's picked to be in the top 3 of their conference, and that team's picked in the top 3. Oh, that team's picked to win, and it gets your juices flowing.
Coach, thanks for your time and good luck this season.
Thanks, Tristan.